even though the last 24 hours, it really was choppy. What you're watching in front of you is an XRP chart, which shows if history rhymes, you are about to see something special. Last time when you saw this was 2017 Feb. For the next 70 days, the price went up like nuts. Before that, you got similar scenario back in June 2014. From there, for 160 days, the price went up. If you are watching this, now you do understand XRP is starting to show you the same structure. And this is happening all while Bitcoin is choppy, the market is dropping. There is a lot of pain in the market. And it does seem like when you're in the social media, especially the crypto Twitter, you see surprise because the price dropped. But remember, the price did drop there, but the thought process here for us, it's not a surprise. Because from this local top, we were putting the same thought process in. For Ether, it was same. We were looking for a range close to 3,200. And even in the last video, while the price was still up, I gave you guys this thought process saying, watch, it's about to drop. Most likely, watch, this is going to be the support. Now we are there. It's actually good. It's actually positive for anyone who is interested in this market, because we kind of touched just below this chart. This is Bitcoin 3-day on a macro looking at last couple of years, and the argument of this zone is now valid, or it's a reality. Now what next is the biggest thought process, the hardest question which everyone is trying to respond to. But then, while all of that happens, keep in mind XRP is signaling something. 63 days, 70 days, 160 days. For XRP, that means big. For any XRP holder, that is big. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. Now, what you're watching in front of you is the thought process of we need to touch there, but we are really close. And we were looking for something like 60, 61, that range, but the price went just below 57, which actually goes back to this trend, this pattern, this structure. And that in itself argues that this trend line is very much valid in the market. So what is that trend? If you bounce off, what would be your resistance? If you are here in a thought process of, okay, let me see how high Bitcoin can actually go, what the hell it is doing, I would argue maybe I'm completely wrong, but the price action shows you I'm not. While the price was still up, this is the initial thought process which I shared with you guys, saying most likely this is going to be something. Negative divergence pushes the price down. And as soon as it reaches down, you're watching hidden bullish divergence. Look at that. We now have this in Bitcoin, which is good, which means any bounce in Bitcoin from here should lead altcoins in a crazy manner. Why is that? The negative divergence is the key signal which we were waiting for. Now we have that. The negative divergence is not lying. It's in front of you. It's saying I'm trending lower. Remember, that drop back to 30,000 in Bitcoin back in 2021, and then a bounce to 69,000, all happened while the RSI was still trending lower. So the price went up 100% after the drop, or 50% within that divergence range. So here we are watching the same scenario. Bitcoin dominance is dropping through the supports. It is a key level. If it was to bounce, just like the argument of 150, 200, $300,000 Bitcoin, I would have looked at this trend line and said, this should have bounced. As it's not bouncing, I would now argue the point which I've been highlighting for a few months here is now very much valid. Like we've been talking about this scenario all the way from Jan Feb. And now we're watching that playing out. This means, yeah, I've been late, but XRP, Ether, and the altcoin market is showing you something special. What is it? Look at this, Bitcoin. Put it on a daily chart. Last few days, just 2-3 days, take it. And what do you see here? It's been very much choppy. Now look at the same daily for the total altcoin market. It doesn't look like that. You're still above that critical level of support. You're still just small wick, which is okay. Now push that onto a 3-day, push that onto a weekly, whichever higher time frame structure you rely on. But then understand the fact that the price action is now showing you the same thing which we saw back in the time, which means the first range is here and the second one is here. So this is the RSI on total altcoin market showing you it's clearly developing hidden bullish divergence here. And that's strong one too. So any bounce here is going to be a decent rally in a lot of different altcoins. So right now, while the market is bleeding, you're starting to watch some of these tokens are starting to bounce back up. So the narrative is kind of being set. Look at TR, look at ING, look at WIF, look at AGIX, look at Fetch. I mean, there is story behind some of these, like the Fetch, Ocean, AGIX. There is story. The narrative is different. But then you look at the meme coins, the Popcat, it's up 60% for the day. You're like MOG, it's up 40% for the day. So the market is now showing you, the money is starting to turn into the altcoin space. That's what we want to watch. And that's just the beginning of it. The actual run up would start the moment you see this being broken on Bitcoin dominance. Now it's at a clear level of rejection, showing you it is being pushed lower, which is very interesting, so that it does give you an idea that it's about to run. Because the same chart, when zoomed out, shows you we are just waiting for one leg. Now, how many of you here remember the thought process I was saying? What if we get something like this? As of now, it's not completed, agreed, but it looks like 40% on the mark. So by the time we end this week, whereas this week just started, we have a long way to go. So by the time this week ends, what if we break through 53? What if we break through 52? That's a huge movement. Now, why is that so significant? Because the change in trend usually happens with one big candle showing 6-7% to the downside in Bitcoin dominance. So while you're watching the Bitcoin to Ether to the altcoin, all these comparisons, also keep in mind there is something like this playing out. A falling wedge, which break to the upside, then come back down to do the retest, which is like a 20-25% drop, which is okay, which is cool. We watch something like that. And then it bounces back up. But at that point, something happens. You slow down. Now we need to see whether we're going to slow down or not. But that does show you the market is about to slowly run back up. When everyone is looking for negative price action, the market should start surprising them. Now, let me put my argument here. You just saw on a weekly, Bitcoin broke to the downside on its RSI, which is clear here. Now, on the total altcoin market side, what you're watching is the fact that the market is still trending. This is your trend line and you're above that. Ether is above that. So it's not just Ether, it's about the altcoin spectrum, which is showing you I'm not going down, my strength is not bleeding, it's still trending. Who is bleeding though? And that's one of the thought process you should understand. Not a lot of social media outlets are going to give you this thought process because majority like Bitcoin to do well. So if it is being choppy here for next 60, 70, 80 days, not a lot of people would actually like it. But as soon as you see a big weekly candle close in Ether, in the altcoin market, don't believe anyone else, just believe what the market is showing you. If the market shows you it found really hard to come back and retest this and it's starting to bounce, most likely this is going to be the breakout. This is going to be the structure. So a breakout, retest, bounce, that would be very much positive. And at that time, short-term trades would work really well. But before you double down on your long positions, you can do that even now. But wait for the Bitcoin reversal signal. On a micro, you don't have to wait for a 3-day or a weekly chart. You can do that on a daily. If you do get a reversal signal here on the daily, that's more than enough. Because while you are here, remember one point the market races is that you usually see long wicks like this, 5, 7, 10% to the downside. So let's see where this weekly candle is about to close, and that's going to be a giant indicator. But don't forget the fact that XRP is showing that after an extended period of time. Remember, in 2021, we didn't have this. Clear? We had it back in 2017, we had it back in 2014, but not in 2021. And if you compare the rally, you can see 2021 was nothing compared to 2017 or 2014. So when XRP argues, I'm about to do something similar, something great, be prepared. Yeah, we have been patient long, but now our time is nearing. So guys, if you haven't smashed the like button yet and you think you got some value out of this video, smash that like button for me. And if you want these kind of thought process at the right time when the majority says the other direction is the right direction and then the price follows this direction, you need to be in the SI family. So you can use the link in the description to reach me. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.